Bueno, están en Casa Betania.
We are located now in Casa Betania.
Lo llamamos.
The products that we propose to our clients are of the best quality.
Y lo bueno es que
They are created by artisans who are perfectly aware of social and solidarity economy, and they know what fair trade is.
y lo más importante que la mayoría
For us, fair trade is a practice and a set of principles that we must apply in our workshops. For example, when we buy our materials, we ensure that it's the best possible quality.
son principios que nosotros tenemos que aplicar en nuestros talleres. Por ejemplo, el hecho que cuidamos, primeramente, que desde que empezamos, desde que vamos al mercado a comprar nuestros insumos y nuestro material sea de buena calidad.
And here we make sure that there are enough space for the artisans to work with dignity, so they can exchange, know each other, and simply talk.
Podamos tener la posibilidad también de intercambiar, de conocernos, de conversar. Y lo otro que nosotros consideramos que está dentro de los criterios del comercio justo es que
And of course, an essential element of fair trade is that prices are fair, so their work is correctly valued.
En el año 90, ¿no?
In the 1990s, our country was going through a terrible crisis. Prices were on the rise. Some women, they were really living through terrible situations. So when we saw this, we decided to create a mental health workshop. There were 3 of us, a nun who lived in the area, a friend, and me. And we said, okay, let's do something. We have space at Casa Betania, because this house was already called Betania. And that's how we started. The women we received, we started thinking and reflecting on what we all needed. And we thought a lot about it. Then something came out. Well, what if we transformed our fabric into product we could sell? Oh yes, wallet or embroidery, for example. Yes, of course, my grandmother taught me how to embroider. Yes, I can too. The nun gave us pieces of cloth she had, and we started working with those. Our first products were purses that we embroidered just here.
My name is Gladys Salvador, and I have been working here at Casa Betania for over 30 years.
My name is Luisa, Ccahua, Huillca, and I'm also, I'm not working right now, but how can I say, I'm retired, but I'm still here. I arrived to Lima when I was 13 years old. A lady that my father knew approached him and told him, Juan, I need a girl. Don't you have one? And my father came back from the market and he asked my little sister and I, who wants to go to Lima? And I said, me. And that's how I came. To help, to support, to assist the young woman. I spoke Quechua and I didn't know how to read. I didn't know how to speak Spanish. With this lady, who was also from my village, they put me in school and everything.
When I came to work here, I knew how to sew clothes, all that. But not this. It was very difficult. However, the blouse is easier. I had a rough time learning. But I did it in the end. And now I can. They gave me the mold and I make them. Now I can.
I found out about this place at church. They told us that the association was giving classes and everything. And that's why I came. The money that we earn here, even if it's not much, it's very useful at home for my children. And I don't need to bother my husband when there is something to buy. If I had some economic independence, however small, it would give me a little more freedom, and in that way it's easier to help my children.
Es una facilidad también para ayudar a tus hijos.
Al realizar los trabajos ya tenemos fin de mes nuestra paga, ¿no? Entonces,
With this work, I get a paycheck at the end of the month. It helps you a lot. It makes me more independent. I can even treat myself sometimes. I have something of my own. As Irene says, it's up to you. You decide what you want to do with that money.
In my case, in the beginning, my husband was very harsh. Going out on the street to work was a struggle for me. I couldn't just stay. In the beginning, I used to go to a workshop. It was called New Sport, and I was stopping by after dropping the kids at school. I would come back home with a knitting bag, and he would say, "Where did you go?" I would answer, "I just brought home some work." And after that, I knitted next to him.
De tejido. Entonces, y él me decía, ¿de dónde vienes? No, vengo a retraer el trabajo.
And when he left home and returned, seeing me knitting, he didn't say anything. And that's how he got used to me going out. Until I managed to work outside of home. Because it's just impossible for me to work at home.
Digo, yo trabajar en mi casa, no puedo. Yo me he dado cuenta que el hombre...
And I realized that the attitude of a man depends on the education that his mother gave him. It is the mother who makes a man. And when I saw my husband, who didn't know how to do anything, I realized that I wanted my son to be different. So on holidays, I would put him, well, not in math workshops, because he does that at school, but at carpentry and electricity workshops.
Y ese es uno de mis grandes logros.
And that's one of my biggest accomplishments, that my son is far away. I supported him a lot so he could go and study. And he would always say to me, "Mom, I want that class." And I would say, "Don't worry, Mom will pay for it." And now he's in the Czech Republic, thanks to a scholarship that he won. And thanks to the steady paychecks that I get here, I was able to take a loan. And it allowed me to pay for his plane tickets.